Am I on? Am I broadcasting? Yes, I am. Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. How are you doing today? And what a glorious day it is. It's such a beautiful day that Jane has got the washing out at the moment. And you can see one of our cat cushions has been having a bit of a clean. Little Kiki is down there playing, enjoying I would have said the joys of spring, but we are in the winter. And just look how glorious it is today. Lovely clear blue skies. Thank you to Amanda for a concise weather forecast. She says, Ginge, good morning. Happy Sunday. Today's weather, it's going to be sunny skies, blue skies and sunshine. It's going to be 20 degrees Celsius, but it's going to feel like 21. I've got to be honest, these last couple of days, the weather's been absolutely glorious. So as you can see, it is beautiful today. I'm not sure what it's like where you are, where you're looking in from the UK or from Israel, as we have listeners over there or viewers there. Also people in Sweden, people in the United States, people in Cyprus. I bet they're having good weather at the moment. But anyway, that's the weather at the moment. Absolutely glorious. Just have a quick look across the real estate. A big hello to Margaret Miller and also Victor Eastman as well, who's tuning in. But again, oh yeah, we've had the grass cut since yesterday. So it's looking very tidy at the moment. He's done a lovely job cutting the grass. And look how green it is as well and how thick it is as well. Absolutely fantastic. So there you go. That's the weather for today. Let's crack on and start looking at the news. I've got to be honest, there's been a few things going on. And I think some people are in for some surprises this morning when it comes to the news. So let's crack on and look at what's been going on in Greece in the last 24 hours. Just quickly, can I say thank you to all those people who just put little messages on Facebook. Jane and I did a little drive up to the north of the island yesterday, up to Port St Nicholas. I can't believe the amount of building that's going on up there. Lots of new villas going up in that location. And also in Port St Nicholas itself, they're actually building a complete set of little houses right in the seafront there where the port is, and that's going to be interesting when those are completed. So again, despite everything going on, there's still a lot of building going on, and that means there's money being spent. The amount of mixer trucks we saw and the amount of trucks just bringing ballast up to that area was quite incredible, actually. More of them driving about than people in cars, believe it or not. But anyway, we'll see how things progress. Right then, so let's have a look at COVID in the last 24 hours here in Greece. Got to say that the new infections has gone down, which is good. I did report on my previous report, 7,805. Well, today I can report there were 5,991 new infections across Greece. That's bringing the grand total now up to 874,812. Now, there were 4 new cases identified at checks into the country. That was also down on the day before, where there had been 11. Now, according to infection rates on the islands of interest that we're looking at in the Ionian, Lefkada yesterday had 11 new cases, which was the same as the day before, where they had 11 there. That island is in the green. Corfu had 105 new cases detected. That was down slightly on the day before, where they had 108. That island is in the red. Kefalonia, they again had 8 new infections, the same as the day before. That island is in amber. And us, Zakynthos, we had 24 new infections yesterday, which is up on the day before, where we had 16. And Zakynthos, at the moment, we are still in the red. Now, when it comes to deaths at the moment in the country, the death rate, new deaths has dropped quite significantly, which is a good sign. You might remember I had reported on my previous report 91 deaths. That was the highest number of deaths since May the 3rd. Well, yesterday I can report now that there has been 69 new deaths across Greece. And once again, our condolences to those families affected. That brings the death toll now to 17,237. Now, when it comes to ICUs and people in incubation at the moment, there's 594 critical cases in hospitals. That is up on the previous day, where we had 575. Once again, just to remind you that the number of beds that Greece has available is 900. So it is slowly creeping up to that number at the moment, but not creeping up as fast as what you might expect. Anyway, critical cases in hospital, of that 594, 361 are male, 233 are female. The average age of those is 64 years of age. 82% of them have underlying health conditions or are over the age of 70. Now, regarding those critical patients, 493 of them are unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, and 101 are fully vaccinated. So there you go. That's the stats in the last 24 hours. Right, the news. This, to me, comes as no surprise, all right? This first story that I picked up on yesterday in the Greek press. In 60 areas throughout Greece, the electronic cross-checks have been carried out by the Ministry of Labour, and it has identified what they are describing as negligent, unvaccinated workers who, without any legal excuse, did not undergo from October the 18th till November the 7th the necessary number of mandatory rapid tests that they should have had for going to work. Now, Immersa, which is like the Financial Times of Greece, that's the best way to describe it, published yesterday the complete and final list of cases of employees who will start to receive fine notices from next week, which will start from €150 for part-time employees who had forgotten only one test, and it can reach up to €1,800 for full-time employees who had to take 6 tests for 3 weeks and did not do any. Now, to be honest, all through the season, I religiously went for testing twice a week. You had to update your TaxisNet yourself at first to show that you had been tested. And my word to people was this: if you're putting your results on your tax returns, basically, with TaxisNet, that's the Greek system for tracking tax payments, ECA payments, etc., then obviously they have the facility to go ahead and check to make sure that you are vaccinated or vaccinating when you're supposed to through your taxes. Now, we had inspections during the summer in various venues where the police came in and they would know straight away that people had not been testing. So again, people were getting fined, businesses were getting fined for not actually doing the testing. So once again, be aware. My main issue with this was, my thought was, if they're checking you through your taxes, then maybe if you're not testing when you should be testing, and as you know, they're turning the screw on the unvaccinated here in Greece. One of the ways they might stop you or encourage you to go get the vaccine was to say, well, we're not going to give you any ECA this winter because you haven't complied and got the test. That hasn't happened yet. But what has happened, and this to me looks like this could be the first stage, is we've started looking at unvaccinated people. We've seen those that haven't had the vaccine, and we're now going to fine them because they didn't test when they were supposed to test. And you've got to remember as well, initially at the beginning, you had to test, and you obviously then put your own result in onto your tax return. Once the government then decided it was going to pay for your for your test, or they reduced the cost of the test, where you went to in the tax centre, it was their responsibility to update your TaxisNet through your AMCA number, etc., to obviously show that you'd actually had the test. So again, I feel this is another twist of the screw onto unvaccinated people to get vaccinated. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly continue with that. The data in the table refer to the cases where were characterised by a system for a fine and are characterised by the service of the Labour Inspection Body, which undertakes to collect fines. It's a time for a retroactive account for negligent unvaccinated workers. A bit of gobbledygook there, but basically what they're saying is they're now starting to check your tax records to see if you've been testing when you were supposed to be testing. Most violations are detected as they expected. We're in the first weeks of the implementation of the mandatory rapid test measure for the unvaccinated, particularly the week of October the 18th to October the 24th, where the system records 8,295 offenders. Now, during the week of the 25th of October to the 31st of October, the system recorded 6,785 offenders. And the week of the 1st of November to the 7th of November, the system recounted 7,709 offenders. In other words, it's obvious that compliance increases as measures are implicated. It is reminded that from November the 8th, the measure was tightened, and now there are 2 mandatory rapid tests for all employees in the private sector. Now, Corfu alone had 220 people that are going to expect a letter, shall we say, to say that you are being fined. Now, in Zakynthos, for the period of the 18th of the 10th, 18th of November to the 7th of November, 85 notices have been sent out. So those people that didn't get tested between those dates, you can expect to receive a letter, and you're going to expect to have to start paying fines, all right, for not complying with the regulations at the time, although, you know, at the time. And I've got to be honest, even after I'd finished work on the 29th, I still went for one more test just to make sure that if there was a delay in being signed off from work or whatever, then I was technically still covered, because as far as they might be concerned, oh, you're still technically still at work. So therefore, we might try and sting you for €180 fine. So anyway, we'll wait and see how that plays out. If you're somebody that actually experiences this, where you've had a letter in the post because you missed a test for whatever reason, we'll see how efficient the system is. Because again, my main worry was when you signed off, how long it took for, you know, the system to know that you weren't working anymore, because it was interesting that the police were going into venues. They knew that people hadn't actually done the test for a certain period of time, and they would then go in, fine that person, and also close that business down as well for, say, 7 days or whatever, plus a hefty fine on top of that as well. So that did happen in the summer, and we shall wait and see what the outcome of that as well. Also, as well, the finance ministry officials expect thousands of car owners to stop driving their cars next year in Greece due to the considerable increase in the price of fuel. Now, they consider it is likely that many will choose the option for paying their road tax by the month rather than by the year, an option that will probably become available next March. One thing about when you live here in Greece, road tax renewal is all done on the same date, which is generally you've got to have your road tax redone by the 3rd or so of January. If you don't do it by that date, then obviously your road tax increases and you end up paying double the cost. So as of now, road tax applications to renew your road tax actually are starting within the next few days. But again, everybody has said all along, why is it that Greece does not do its road tax on a monthly basis? You look at all these car hire companies who just basically want to insure their vehicles for 6 months. They have the problem then, they have to remove all the license plates off their vehicles, put them back in the tax office, and then ready for the next season for 6 months, they then take out all the license plates, put them back on the car, and obviously have to pay a reactivation charge plus the road tax as well on top. And it's an absolute nightmare of a job for car hire firms. Now that everything's computerized, you would think now that they're thinking, well, they might as well leave the plates on the cars. They might as well just let us know they're not driving the car. We flag that up on the police system, on the insurance system. So if anybody's out driving a hire car and it's not been, shall we say, reflagged that it's going to be on the road, then obviously we can find that person or that company, etc. So again, it looks like things are changing here. Anyway, the road tax notices for the whole of 2022 will be uploaded on the website of the Independent Authority for Public Revenue and will not have any changes compared to 2021. So it looks like they're not going to put the taxes up, which is what they're saying. However, they're going to change the system slightly so that you get the choice of doing your tax monthly rather than yearly. And then obviously the problems that obviously brings as well. Also, another little interesting story that I saw is tourism is directly linked to health. And this has been proved, as in 2 years we were able to rebrand the country as a safe destination, something that helped tourism immensely. This is what the Greek Minister of Tourism, Vasilis Kyriakis, said on Friday while doing an interview on Ant TV. He said, even when there was no vaccination, we had tourism product in 2020. That is when we did have vaccines and all the other Mediterranean countries were closed, because we built an excellent testing system and had good referral hospitals, health centres and air transport, and cooperated with the tourism sector, the hoteliers, the quarantine hotels, with private doctors who entered the testing system as well. He noted that those were some of the reasons why it was very forward thinking of Greece. In a period of a year and a half, Greece has created new ICU beds, he said, hired over 10,000 health professionals. Yeah, but how many did you sack in the process? And because they weren't vaccinated, and set up an excellent vaccination program, one of the best in existence, he added. Anyway, focusing on the health protocols, he underlined, and this year with our health protocols, with the feeling of security of our visitors, despite having forecasts of 5.6 billion euros in tourism revenues, these have already reached 12 billion. Well, there's a plus there, that the amount of money made through tourism this year actually doubly exceeded what was expected to be collected. Although we are in November, he said, we still have tourists and visitors on Rhodes and Crete. I didn't realise that Rhodes and Crete still had people visiting. But I must admit, when we're up the north end of the island, we did hear a few Polish voices up there, so we're wondering if there might be a few Polish people still here on the island, or maybe they've come for a bit of a break, as it were, from their country. Anyway, and finally, a little bit of news again, local news again. The Culture Ministry has pledged that it is going to be doing work on the Venetian Castle in Zakynthos. For those people that don't know about the Venetian Castle, we have a fortress that overlooks Zante town. You can go up there. That fortress is probably near on 1,000 years old. It's been occupied by the Venetians. It was it was also occupied by the British. It was like their headquarters up there when we had the United States of Ionia. We then took that island. We took Zakynthos from the French. They had their headquarters up there as well for a bit. And then the last time it was occupied was by the Germans during the Second World War, where they had their garrison stationed up there in the fortress. So again, the fortress now is looking at having 1.5 million euros has been allocated from the Ministry of Culture to basically do work up there and restore the castle. One thing they could do with restoring at the castle, for anybody who might be listening in, is the cafe that up there, which I remember it when it first opened, around about 2005, 2006, when it first opened. Brand new modern building up there, fantastic view of two sides of the island from up there. And in the last few years, it's never been open, not because of COVID. This is before COVID came. For some reason, because of the hours that the castle is open, because they had these restrictive hours where they shut for like 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 5 o'clock at night sort of thing. It should be open all through the day until it gets dark, basically. And so therefore, if you were taking the franchise on and running this cafe up there, you were kind of limited as to how long you could be open for. And again, I think it's a feature on the island that doesn't get a great deal of attention from, say, tour companies and people like that. They could do a little bit more, I think, for the Venetian Castle. you know, there's a lot of history up there as well, and it's a very interesting location. So again, we'll wait and see what this 1.5 million actually buys in the way of improving the Venetian Castle. Right, that's it with the news for today. Can I just say thank you to all those people that are tuned in? Excuse me, a big shout out to Kevin Bell, Barbara Cocker as well. Sam Curtis says, good morning, Ginge, from a beautiful, sunny, chilly morning here in Brighton. Bless you, it sounds lovely. Teresa Ann Huggett says, good morning. Dave Lismore is also saying, good morning, Ginge. Great to see you. Nice to see you as well, Dave. Vic Eastman is also tuning in as well. I think I mentioned you already, Vic. And Wendy Norcliffe is tuning in as well. Right, that's it from me. I'll keep my ears to the ground. I hear of anything, I will let you know. But in the meantime, you stay safe and have a lovely day. Oh, and don't forget, today I've got my Northern Soul show going out on beatsradio.co.uk. So once again, that's going out at 5 p.m. UK time, which is 7 p.m. Greek time. Come and join us in the chat room. And if you've got any suggestions for tunes for future shows, then basically just pop them in there and I'll be happy to play them for you. Anyway, you have a great day and I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.